Life cycle. I consider myself a gypsy, a nomadic human in search of knowledge and freedom. For as long as I can remember, this has been my purpose. As time progressed and my collection of knowledge expanded, I began to understand that freedom in Maya is merely a fragmented reality. True freedom can only be built in the confines of one's own mind. When emotion and logic knowingly function in unison, a soul may understand true freedom of self. After the death of the sun goddess, I began my time with the Gemini. The Gemini, true to his name, had twin personalities. He and I spent time subconsciously learning from one another. As he began to absorb the different traits of his mirror sides, I practiced discipline. The Gemini was a proponent of discipline. Although it wasn't his motto per se, he employed its practice in almost everything he did. His actions were swift, his commands were direct, and his stare dominated, dependent upon the mood of the twins. He would always instill the fact that nothing in life worth having comes easy. This lesson has propelled me to continue my journey even when hope seems to have run out. My initiation into attaining discipline came at a price, a balancing act between her and I. Through my process of acquiring discipline, she developed the addiction. Do you know how to hide a dependence in plain sight? Become addicted to the most important substance a body needs to survive in Maya: food. The addiction kept her alive during those years. After the split, she was extremely fragile. Food directly supplied her with what little energy it took to survive. But the loss of control set us back. The more disciplined I became, the more her addiction got out of hand. She used to take over for those moments during binging. I could always see it happening. I could always smell the substances and taste the sugars. But the lack of control, the lack of self-restraint, that was her. It was as if she believed food would make us feel whole again. When the motion of hand to mouth was in effect, nothing else mattered. We managed for a moment to feel complete. And then came the come down. The come down was never fun, but at the time the come down seemed like a natural process of life. Binge, come down. Binge, come down. I spent 5 years correcting the problem. During that time, I invested countless hours trying to understand her pain. Together, we went through many phases of trial and error. I worked tirelessly in Maya, finding ways to keep her calm and motivated. Each day was its own struggle. The scars that mark the continuous battle of our lesson stretch across this body. As the years have progressed, she and I worked to perfect the balancing act between her addictive outbursts and my need for discipline. Condition of balance. A conscious-minded human working in a state of complete discipline will begin to unravel, thus causing a need for the subconscious to release, often through the act of addiction. In turn, a conscious mind, lost in the habit of addiction, will need to seek an understanding of discipline through the subconscious in order to gain control of self. A direct correlated cycle of life versus circumstance. A dream does not have an endpoint, it has checkpoints. A dreamer must recognize that the assembly of a dream requires dedication and discipline. Checkpoints can only be reached when the dreamer is actively working each day to advance upon said dream. She and I reached a checkpoint after overcoming the addiction. The balance we established provided a foundation for future advancements.